Hey, it's Pastor Kevin with another week's edition of Nazarene Talk, and we're so glad you could join us today. I hope you're having a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and that you are seeking the Lord each and every day of your life. As we know, we get one life, and we need to seek the Lord as we're here. Today, I'm joined by my co-host, who hasn't been with me in a while, because he's been busy doing other things that are obviously a lot more important than being here for whatever reason. So, Jeremiah, what's going on?
Oh, it's good to be back. I haven't been here in it seemed like months.
It feels like a month.
But it's probably only been weeks.
No, it's been a month.
It's been a month?
Yeah.
Damn, it's been a long time.
And so you've been out just building the kingdom, is doing your thing, and so we're glad you're back today.
Yeah, it's exciting to be here. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, good. Well, so let's talk about doubt today. You know, it's a word that we like to stay away from in the church. We don't like to confess that some of us, even as pastors, we doubt God. Mm-hmm. We doubt His power. We doubt His presence. We doubt His authority. We doubt His kingship. We doubt His existence. You know, I think that especially in our society today, we live like we doubt. You know, yeah. we don't live truly. And the fully believing that God is God, I think, enough. You know,
it's true. It's true. And I think one of the biggest causes of doubt in our lives is forgetfulness. And we live so much in the moment. We live so much in the situation that we're in, from situation to situation, circumstance to circumstance, that we allow our knee-jerk reactions, we allow our emotions to dictate how we're going to think and what we're going to believe about what we're currently involved in. And so when we start to forget what God has done for us in the past, or when we start to focus on what's happening right now, what it does is it starts to cause us to forget what God has done for us in the past.
That's right.
And you had a word for that yesterday. Do you remember that word?
I don't remember that word.
Amnesia.
Amnesia, that's right. And so whether we're doubting that God can step in a marriage, or we're doubting God can step in and help our finances, or we're doubting that I can be healed of whatever I'm struggling with, those type things, you know, I think the first thing to do when doubt hits us is we need to get rid of our amnesia. You know, I think we forget everything that God has done. Jeremiah, tell that cool story in the scriptures that the Israelites had to do when they reached the promised land.
Yeah, Joshua was really bringing the Israelites into the promised land. They're getting ready to cross the Jordan River and go into the promise that the Lord had given Israel after they came out of Egypt. And as Joshua brought the Israelites through, after the last Israelite came through the river and out into the promised land, and the priest came out of the river, God commanded each of the Israelites to take one person from each tribe. There were 12 tribes. To take one person from each tribe and then make a monument out of 12 stones to remember what God has done for them. And so each stone represented a tribe of Israel, and each stone had a significance in the storytelling of what God has done. So that way, when they brought their children to this place, they would be able to tell their children what happened here. When their grandchildren came to this place, that story would be passed on. When their great-grandchildren would come to this place, they would remember the faithfulness of God that He showed them through their time in the wilderness.
And so I think when doubt starts to hit us, whatever form of doubt hits us, the enemy throws at us, we got to set up our own 12 stones. We got to remember everything that God has done for us. And I think we can do this a whole number of ways. You know, when you have crazy testimonies of God coming through to save the day, write it down. Or put it in the back of your mind somewhere and pull it the next time that doubt hits you. I think that I think about the story, and I shared it a little bit yesterday in yesterday's message. But when Jesus had risen from the dead, and you had this guy named Thomas who followed Jesus for 3 years, who witnessed all these incredible things that Jesus did, and Jesus had risen from the dead, and Thomas didn't believe it. They're saying Jesus is back, and Thomas is like, "There's no way that Jesus is back," and so there's no way that He's come back from the dead. And it's like, Thomas, man, you forgot who you're dealing with. You forgot everything that Jesus did up to this point. You know, He opened the eyes of the blind and healed the crippled and healed the guy with leprosy and did all of these crazy things. And you're saying that He didn't rise from the dead? Did you see everything that He's already done? And I think that when doubt hits us, we got to remember everything that's God's done. And we got to put up our own 12 stones. We got to write out what God's done and remember it in those times. I think that's just vitally important.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I was here in just the last couple weeks, my family and I have been doing a weight loss challenge. And, over the last 5 years since I've gotten married, I've been extremely happy, but they say that happiness sometimes makes you fat. And so I've gained about 60 pounds since I've been married. And so we're in this weight loss challenge trying to lose weight. And sometimes it can seem like impossible. Sometimes it can seem like nearly impossible to make that happen. And I found a picture in my drawer the other day when the last time I lost weight right out of college. And I was fit and I looked good. And it got me thinking about and remembering what I had to go through in order to get to that point where I'd lost all that weight. Because I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to be like this forever. I'm not going to be able to lose any weight. And the reality is once I began to remember, I looked at that picture and I began to remember what it was that I did in order to push that weight off. It really inspired me to move in that direction. So remembering is great.
Yeah.
The second thing, Pastor Kevin, when it comes to overcoming doubt, is not just remembering what God has done, but to do what?
I think it's important when Jesus doubted, or when Thomas doubted that Jesus had risen from the dead. Jesus told Thomas something that was just amazing and simple and amazing. He said, "Stop doubting and believe." And so I think that when doubt hits us, we got to get away with the Lord and just listen to Him. Listen to His promises. Be reminded of His promises. Listen to Him speak truth over our lives. Yeah. I think doubt can be so overwhelming, and we can start believing the lies that doubt brings. And I think that in those moments when doubt hits us, we just need to listen to Jesus. Listen to Him say, "Stop doubting and believe." I know when my kids are scared at night and they're uncertain if there's a storm or they're uncertain because they heard a noise outside their window or something like that, there's nothing more refreshing for them than just to be with their dad and listen to him.
Yeah.
Speak comfort and speak truth. And so I think we got to do the same thing when doubt hits our lives.
Yeah, it was really funny the other day. I was in the car with my kids and we were driving home. And as we were driving home, my daughter, who's 2, is in the back seat and she sees some horses out the window. And so she starts talking about how, Daddy, I want to ride the horses. I want to ride the horses. And I said, oh, maybe later we'll ride the horses when you're older and you're a little bit bigger. And she said, don't put the horses back in the barn. I said, why can't the horses go back in the barn? That's their home. That's where they live. She said, no, there's monsters in the barn and they'll eat the horses. I was like, Landy, there's no monsters in the barn that'll eat the horses. She's like, yes, there are. There's monsters in the barn that'll eat the horses. And they'll eat me too. The monsters are going to come and eat me when I go into the barn too. I said, Landy, there's no monsters in the barn. And I couldn't convince her that there were no monsters in the barn. And then so I thought, okay, maybe I'll, get kind of like creative with her and let her know, like, there's always angels with you, Landy. I said, angels are going to protect the horses and angels are going to protect you. And there's nothing that they can do that monsters will be able to do because of the angels. She said, no, they'll eat the angels too. The monsters will eat the angels and eat the horses and they'll eat me too. And I said, Landy, no. And so we went on and on and on about this and about monsters, and she's just freaking out about monsters. And finally, the only thing that I had to do, and I don't know why I even thought about this, but it just crossed my mind, and I rolled up my sleeve and I flexed my arm real big and I said, Landy, I'm your daddy and I will never let anything happen to you. There's no monsters that's going to get you. There's no monsters that's stronger than your dad, and your dad is going to protect you every chance I get, and nothing's going to happen to you. And after I said it just one time, okay, Daddy, thank you. And that was it. Yeah. She had to hear from her dad that her dad was going to protect her.
Yeah.
And it put her at perfect peace.
Yeah. And just think, though, that if Landy hadn't stopped to listen to you respond to what she was saying, and I think we do this a lot. We're like, God, there's no hope in this situation. There's nothing that anybody can do. I'm done. It's over. There's no way that you can save me. And God's like, we just listen to me. Just listen. Stop doubting and believe. And so you really think you're big? You're stronger than every monster out there?
Yeah.
Shrek?
Shrek's nothing.
Well, I don't know.
I'm an ogre too.
He tells Shrek that one. So when doubt hits your life, we want to just challenge you to do 2 things. The first thing is to remember everything that God's already done in your life. Set up your 12 stones. The second thing is to just simply listen to Jesus. Listen to him.
Yeah.
Whisper words of faithfulness and whisper words of truth, because we serve the God that is truth, the way, the truth, and the life. And so we have that on our side. And so tap into that. Well, Jeremiah, it was good having you this morning with us.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
I know you've been volunteering or helping at Cherry Street the past couple of weeks, and as summer kind of winds down, we look forward to getting you back here on a more permanent basis and back on the routine of things.
Sounds good.
Good. Well, until next time, this is Nazarene Talk with Pastor Kevin and Pastor Jeremiah, and we'll see you next time.